What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope all doing well. A lot has happened since I last did this show, but breaking last night, Juan Soto has signed with the New York Mets. 15-year deal, $765 million. The Mets got it done. Juan Soto is a Met. I am extremely ecstatic that he is a Met. That's an insane amount of money. It's the largest contract for a professional athlete ever. That is a ridiculous amount of money. That being said, not my money. Steve Combs got all the money in the world. There's no salary cap in baseball, so technically you could have a $1 billion payroll and no one's going to really stop you. Your luxury tax bill would be through the roof, but if you're willing to pay that, cool. It's your money, not mine. But Juan Soto is an absolutely amazing player. I think his resume speaks for himself. Last year, obviously, he had 288, 4-run homers, 109 RBIs. His 419 on base. He had 35 and 109 the year before, 410 on base. He's got a 421 career on base percentage in 7 years for his career. I don't think I even have to go there. It was 285 career hitter. His OPS for his career is 953. The guy is one of the best players in all of baseball. Yes, he's not the best outfielder, where he's just kind of a meh outfielder. He makes the occasional base running error, but just this guy is a monster in the middle of the lineup. He's just a guy that's going to hit 280, 290, 300, 35, 40 bombs, 110 RBIs, 400 on base for many, many years for the New York Mets. He's going to draw possibly more walks than he is strikeouts. Going to have over 100 walks. The guy is he's easily, I guess, when it comes to just pure hitters in this league, just overall, power, bat to ball, plate discipline, all that. I'm not sure if there's 3 guys that are better than him when it comes to that. The guy's amazing. Still going to only be 26 years old this year, and he is a New York Met. Huge deal for the Mets and for Juan Soto. He has an opt-out clause technically after 5 years, so in 2029 he can opt out. The Mets can void the opt-out by adding $4 million per year to his contract. So that would mean he would make $55 million a year, opposed to $51 million a year for the final 10 years of his deal, which means he could make up to $805 million on this contract. Absolutely berserk, absolutely insane, and just otherworldly. Soto is a Met. I cannot believe when it happened. I'm watching Sunday Night Football last night, and then actually Justin, of course, who you all know and love, because he lives with me, he comes downstairs like, oh, the Mets signed Soto. At first, my eyes probably jumped out of my house, like, what? Excuse me. I frantically went to Twitter. I saw Jeff Payson's tweet. I was like, well, I'll be damned. I couldn't believe it. I texted all my friends, every group chat I'm in, on every platform. I did a little TikTok this morning. I called my dad and told him. I texted my uncle, who's also a big Mets fan. Texted all my Mets friends, my Yankees fans friends to troll, of course. But when some of these Yankee fans, can you guys shut the hell up? Seriously? Saying, oh, F him, F the Mets, Steve Cohen, blah, blah, blah. Dude. Look. The Yankees offered him 16 years for $760 million. They still made him a great offer. But you still got outbid. He one extra year, 15 to 16 isn't any difference. The Mets gave him $5 million more on a total value, and and he makes $3.5 million more on a per year basis. You got outbid, and we're going to get RedBox onto the
Hey there, Jake. How's it going?
Good.
Great day of games yesterday.
Yeah, we had a lot of good football. We're definitely gonna get to that later on in the show. I think you probably could guess what I'm going on about right now.
Soto? Yeah,
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, big pickup for you guys. What is it? The largest contract in history? I think?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I thought Ohtani was going to be the pinnacle.
Yeah, I did not think someone was going to pass him at least for a long time, and a year later, just like that.
15 years. See, the 15-year thing. Honestly, I wasn't quite as surprised about the money. But 15 years, he'll be 41?
Yes, correct.
When that contract expires, that's insane.
I know, crazy.
Like that man is good. That man is going to be a billionaire once he kick in and all that too.
Absolutely. With all like the
have any currently, and Ohtani might have been before his interpreter stole all his.
Exactly.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's I knew the number would be very big. I mean, every time I check Twitter, it's like, oh, he has offers in the 600 range. Then it was like 650. Then it was 680. Then it was like, oh, the Mets and Yankees are going over 700. So it kept climbing and climbing, and eventually, I guess Steve Cohen decided to just say screw it and offer him 765, and they got it done.
And the Mets, even before this, they were contenders.
Yeah.
This is definitely putting them in contention for the World Series. Imagine a Subway Series, World Series.
That would be absolutely insane. I would love that. I have a couple of good friends back home who are Yankees fans, and we've been saying for years, if the Mets and Yankees ever end up in the World Series game, we gotta find a way to get tickets. I don't know how we'll do it because those tickets are going to be insanely.
The entire city would shut down.
The city might shut down. That would be crazy, and I don't know how we're gonna afford our tickets, but we're gonna have to find a way that happens. But anyway, yeah. The Mets definitely, I do think that they put themselves in a position to be one of the few teams going into the year like, all right, this is a legit championship contender. And obviously, more work still needs to be done. The pitching staff does still need to be improved. We'll see if they re-sign Pete Alonso, but big pickup for the New York Mets.
Huge, yeah. Boston, of course, we cheaped out, and we were on the short list.
Yeah.
But I don't think our management would be willing to pay even half that for anybody, a current front office.
Yeah, I think they went to 700, but that's as far as they went.
Yeah, how serious were they about it, though?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I'm pretty sure Toronto was never really that serious. I think they just wanted to drive the price up for the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Toronto is a bunch of cheapskates, too. They got the same problem our front office does.
Yeah, there a lot of, in the messenger chat that you and I are both in, a lot of Toronto Blue Jays fans, so all of them, have been kind of commenting on
God, it's been endless.
on the cheapness of their ownership group, and
my phone the past 3 days has just been
I know, dude, mine too.
been complaining from Jays fans.
I know, and in the Discord that I'm in, the Armchair Discord, there's a couple of Jays fans, including Armchair himself. So
then y'all started talking hockey in the baseball chat yesterday. I was really confused.
Yeah, there was a lot. It's been a lot, and like the fancy basketball chat, like the Soto thing got talked about. So it's been a lot of a crossfire going on in these group chats.
I was like, oh yeah, I saw that too. I was like, what? Because I started seeing people talking about Austin Matthews with a baseball emoji beside it. Like, huh?
Yeah, but crazy signing. Mets get Juan Soto. There were a few other signings that happened, and of course, RedBox, you're welcome to hang with me. We can talk about these other signings.
There was one today, wasn't there? That just got announced about an hour ago.
Yes, Jordan Romano, former Blue Jays closer who was non-tender in the offseason, signed a one-year deal with the Phillies. Looks like it'll be around $7.75 million, which is actually slightly more than what he would have gotten paid in arbitration. So that actually works out for him because he actually makes out better than if he were to stay with the Blue Jays. He had a rough year last year. Only pitched in like 16 games. Had a really rough year, but the previous 3 years he had an ERA just above 2. He had back-to-back 36 save seasons. He was one of the better closers in the league for a solid 3 or 4 year span. It looks like he'll definitely be in the late inning conversation for the Philadelphia Phillies.
He's Canadian, I do believe.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah, so he was let go by Toronto, and then actually gets an even. He gets. I don't know what.
That Philly team is stacked. Will he make it into their rotation as their closer?
Yeah, that I'm not sure about. I'm not sure if he's going to close, if he'll get a shot at it. I'm not sure how it's going to work right now.
Yeah, I kind of just, the way he played last season, it definitely won't be right from the beginning. I mean,
if I had to guess, yeah.
We'll be able to see in the spring, but they'll probably give him a few shots in Florida. But
yeah. They'll like I know they lost a couple of pieces. They lost Jeff Hoffman, and they lost Carlos Estevez. So technically, they had an opening at that closer position, but I mean the guy had a 6.5 ERA in 16 games last year. It's hard to hand the keys to that guy right out of the gate. At least without somebody competing for it with him in spring training. Like you said, when spring training gets going, we will see how they. We'll see what happens on when all those storylines come out. Obviously, only time will tell with that. But being said, they have some other arms in that bullpen. Like Matt Strahm, they have some other arms still under contract. Jose Alvarado, though, a ton of them don't have a ton of closing experience, and the ones that do, it's kind of been a mixed bag. So, I mean, look, obviously they could go out and sign somebody else. Tanner Scott's available. He was between the Marlins and the Padres last year. He did some closing. So maybe they make another move. We will see what happens. Could they make a trade? Devin Williams might be a trade candidate in Milwaukee. So we will see what happens. But he is a Philadelphia Philly, and I'm sure he will be helping them in late innings somehow. We'll see what. Yeah, his role is to be determined. This will happen over the last week or so. The Mets signed Clay Holmes. 3 years, $38 million. Apparently, they're going to make him a starter. This was a weird deal. Look, yeah, exactly. Looking at his numbers with the Yankees the last few years, they look pretty good as a casual. He had 2.54 ERA in 62 games in 22. In 23, he had 2.86 in 66 games. Had 3.14 last year. He had 20, 24, and 30 saves respectively all year. Obviously, he's been very inconsistent. Last year had his struggles, lost the closer role down the stretch. He did pitch better in the regular season down the stretch in a lesser role, though was very inconsistent in the postseason. He actually started as a starting pitcher with the Pirates. Was not very good. He had 11 games, 4 starts in 2018, had a 6.54. So he came up a starter, then made the full transition to a reliever. And look, I do think he's got really good stuff. The problem is the walks are a major problem with him. The numbers wise, they aren't again, if you just looked at his stats, they don't look horrible. Last year he had 22 walks in 63 innings. That's not horrible, but it's not great either. His walks per 9 was 3.1. If you as a starter, you can live with that.
Yeah.
You can. As a reliever, not as a reliever, you really can't.
As a reliever, that's not.
That's a big number. I mean, for his career, that's actually not. It's for his career. It's at 4.1. That's a little inflated because his walks per 9 was 7.9 in 26 innings his first year. Then it was 6.5 in 50 innings the previous year. It was 5.4 in 2020 in 21 between the Pirates and the Yankees. And that was mostly with the Pirates. With the Yankees, and that came down to earth. So, it was 2.8, 3.3, and 3.1 the last 3 years with the Yankees. He's been the closer for the majority of the last 3 years for the Yankees.
So it's been coming down.
It has been. It's been getting better Like, I don't think he's a closer. Maybe for like a bad team, he could be a closer, but for a legit contender, like the Yankees have been the last few years, like the Mets are now, I don't think he's a legit closer. But as like a complimentary guy in the bullpen, I think he's a solid piece. I don't know how it's going to go making him a starting pitcher. Obviously, you could always, if it doesn't work out, just put him back in the bullpen. And the best case scenario might be them to throw him out there in spring training and be like, oh my God, this is not going according to plan. Be like, you know what? Let's put him back in the bullpen. So, weird signing. I was not the biggest fan of it. That being said, the Mets last year kind of just put together a bunch of ragtag pitchers that hadn't been pretty mediocre for a while, and they were able to, and they put something pretty solid together. But so I think they could I do think he'll find the role somewhere and could be a solid piece somewhere. That being said, I still have the image of him blowing so many saves the last couple years for the Yankees. You know, it's hard to get around that. So, weird signing, but he's also a Met. We had Willie Adames gets a bag from the San Francisco Giants. Former Brewer and Ray shortstop gets 7 years, $182 million from the Giants. Had a great year last year. 251, 32 home runs, 112 RBIs. He's always been a legit power threat. Like, even like the previous 2 years, only hit 238 in 2022 with the Brewers, but he had 31 home runs and 98 RBIs. Even 23, we didn't have a good year. He only hit 217, but had 24 homers, 80 RBIs, had the best year of his career this past year. You know, he came up in Tampa. You know, his bat never really kind of fizzled out, but then when he went to the Rays, kind of came alive. Then he ends up. Then he looked at the Rays traded him to the Brewers, and his back came alive. So, if nothing else, he's one of the biggest power threats at the shortstop position. He's gotten worse defensively over the years. But we'll probably have to move to second or third in a couple of years. But still is an okay shortstop and hits a lot of home runs. He's got a lot of power, which is something that the Giants need. They really needed a middle-of-the-order threat in that lineup, for sure. So the Orioles make a sign. They steal someone from the division rival. RedBox, your Boston Red Sox. Tyler O'Neill goes to Baltimore. 3 years, $49 million. He had a pretty good year last year. Hit 241, but hit 31 home runs. I mean, he hits a lot of tanks, if nothing else. He's had a weird career. 2021, the Cardinals had a breakout year. Hit 286 with 34 home runs and 80 RBIs. Then struggled the next two. Hit 228 in 96 games. The year prior with 14 home runs. The year after that, hit 231 with 231 with only 9 home runs in 72 games with the Cardinals. Then the Red Sox make the trade for him, and he had about a year. 113 games, hit 241 with 31 home runs. So look, he's a very obvious designated hitter. He can play the outfield, he can play first base, but he's a DH to me. He's kind of a home run or bust kind of guy. He's got a long swing.
He moved around a little bit in Boston.
Huh? He was, yeah.
He was a DH, I think, for the most part. I think he played a little bit of first base.
Yeah, he did, yeah. I think he played a tiny bit. He was mainly a DH, played a lot of corner outfield, but definitely had some first base sprinkled in there. I mean, that is his position. He's a first base / corner outfielder. But our
team sinks further into irrelevance.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to go after some iron in, but yeah, that's I mean, they have so many outfielders, the Red Sox. You have cases there at first base, DH. So I guess he was expendable.
Yeah.
But he and nothing else, he's a very obvious designated hitter in the Orioles. Add another bat, possible replacement for Anthony Santander, who may be set to leave them in free agency. I know Boston is looking at Santander, as is Toronto,
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be a nice replacement there. The Dodgers are also looking at him. Maybe if they lose Teoscar Hernandez, do I need another bat? I mean, I don't think they do, but they're looking at him, and they're the Dodgers, so I'm sure they will be in the running. And the Orioles also brought in Gary Sanchez a year for $8.5 million on a smaller scale. For years with the Yankees, he obviously drove Yankees fans crazy with his low batting averages and his inconsistencies at the plate and the struggles behind the plate. He's gotten better since he left. He had a much better year in Minnesota in 2022. Only 270. He only hit that year 205, but he did have 16 home runs. 2 years ago, mainly with San Diego, in 17 games with San Diego, he hit 218, but 19 home runs with San Diego. Last year at 220, 11 homers, 37 RBIs for the Brewers. Defensively, he's got a cannon, but just everything else comes to keeping the ball in front of him. His pitch framing has never been that great, but he's got a lot of power. The attitude problems and the clubhouse stuff was, I think, blown a little bit out of proportion in the Bronx. He's cleaned up whatever issues he had there. The base running mistakes that he had a lot with the Yankees have gotten a lot better. And look, he's not going to hit for a lot of average. He's not going to get on base a whole lot. He's going to strike out a good amount, but he's got a lot of power. He's been around the league. He's a solid backup catcher, DH option, and the Orioles bring him in probably for some depth. And we're going to invite Neil onto here.
Hell yeah.
As well.
I was going to say, there he is.
What's up, Neil?
What's going on, guys? Sorry about that. I was just putting some pasta on the stove. I thought I had it.
That's all right, man.
What's happening?
How you been? I've been all right. How you been?
Good. I'm glad to be here with you guys, especially RedBox, because we always chat. Same with you and I, Jake. So, yeah, man, I'm just going to jump right in here. Like, obviously, Red Sox fan here, and I'm a Blue Jays fan, and then you're the Mets fan, so you're happy because you got Soto,
right.
And they spent money. Like, that's what it takes to win a World Series. I think we have to come to the realization after 30 years, like, you got to spend to win. There's no salary cap. Like, how else will we win, right? Like,
exactly.
So, this is what bugs me about Rogers. Like, I worked for them for 10 years, okay? And I saw the way they operate the company, okay? They always take in money, but they don't put nothing back in. And RedBox, you can attest to this. Well, yes. I know that you're visually impaired, but you know how many people bitch about Rogers services and devices. Like, it's
God.
It's never ending because they don't invest in their product. And we see that with the team on the field. Like, they're only trying to make merch, ticket sales, and memorabilia sales, and that's it. And they want you to purchase all the packages on TV. That's all they want. They don't care about winning the World Series. And, like, there's a couple factors here. Like, Jeff, who's in our baseball league, he's the dude that's actually in the picture with Paul Muller there from the 90s World Series when he won that MVP trophy. Because Jeff's a little bit older and he's been in the media for quite some time. So he feels that it's because players don't want to come here. But I'm like, is it because of Canada or because they just see the team that the Rogers organization put on the field? And I think it's the latter. It's what they see.
The team does not help now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Godsman and Bassett have already spoken out and are ready to leave if we don't make big moves. I don't even want to say we anymore because I'm not associating myself with Rogers anymore. I might not even follow the Jays anymore. I'm almost not a fan anymore. Like, it's just getting disgusting. Like, you don't go and get players like Vlad and Bo in your system and bring them up, and that's not going to happen again if you get rid of these guys. Like, and that was 6 years ago that we were building with these guys. These guys are veterans now, and they have nothing around them. The Jays are too cheap to re-sign Semien when he did what he did here. It wouldn't have costed us too much more, and that was a big piece that we lost. They made a ridiculous deal in sending Teoscar Hernandez to Seattle for Eric Swanson, who I have no idea what he's ever done. I think they think he's going to be the closer now. And then the most horrendous deal was the Arizona deal, sending Monero and Gurriel Jr. for Colton Varsho, who all he's done is won a Gold Glove last season, and that's it. And, like, it's pathetic. And now Romano's gone to Philly. Okay, I get that his arm is messed up, and I can see why they walked on him. But they better hope he doesn't show up in Philly and collects 30 saves because, right? Philly for closer, they'll take him. So, and I'm not going to lie to you. I feel that they're going to do the exact same thing they did last year. Hype up about, like, what they did with Ohtani. They had a hype on Soto last year. They had hype on Bellinger last year. And then they got none of those guys. Now they're sitting here saying, oh, Corbin Burns on the radar. Max Fried on the radar. Oh, Santander. You know what? Santander's had 4 big seasons, and the only reason he had a 40-home run season is because of every hitter around him. You need good hitting around you so that you see better pitches in the lineup, which is why people knock Vlad. They're like, oh, he wasn't so elite. Because all he had was Bo, and that was it. And, like, Springer was a bad deal. I said it from the get-go. I like Springer, but they gave that guy all that money just to woo the fans, and he's done nothing. Like, he really hasn't done anything. So the team's hurting, man. It's just so frustrating. Like, they went out and bought Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment for $5 billion, and the company's worth 50. Now they're probably worth 20. So what are you so cheap about? Like, the team here, this Jays team won a World Series in the 16th year of their existence, and this organization has held on to them for 22 years. The only thing that I can commend Rogers on is that they're keeping the team in Canada. That keeps Toronto here, because there was a time where Toronto, there was rumors that they would get sold and get moved out of Toronto. So thankfully they didn't get moved to Toronto, but they're not trying to win, and it's really frustrating because it's like, you got a player like Vlad, they're dissing him. They dissed him for the last 2 seasons. He went to arbitration last time. This is not going to happen again. He's wanting to be here. I don't think he wants to be here anymore. Because the one year he's like, I would never sign with the Yankees, and then last year he's like, oh, I would consider signing the Yankees now.
Yeah.
So his mind's changing, you know? So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, if we would have kept Alex Anthopoulos, we would have won a World Series by now. Again,
that's tough to see him. That guy is a phenomenal GM. Yeah, that was a tough guy to let go.
And apparently Atkins and Shapiro were all over him about trading players from the farm. But what do? Like, Jake, you and I have made so many trades. You have to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I gave you so many draft picks. I want to win the title. I want to get players. I have to give up future picks. I have to give up bodies now that will help you so I can win. Like, there's no other way around it.
Right.
If you're not going to do that, then you have to sign it. You have to spend the money. And this organization has money. RedBox will tell you, whether he's been a customer of Rogers or not, we have all been raped on Rogers sell rates for decades. Okay?
Can imagine.
And he did the same thing with cable TV. They had the state of Texas, they had the state of Connecticut, and they had the state of, I think, Wisconsin, that they had cable services to. They're making all kinds of American money. Like, you know what the American dollar is to the Canadian dollar, right?
Right.
Maybe at 71 cents to the US dollar right now.
Yeah.
So, like, that is something that they made so much cash on. They have this money and they don't want to spend it. So it's so frustrating. And I feel like the next thing we're going to talk about is Vlad leaving, and like Bo will follow, and then Gosman and Bassett are gone. They've already spoken out and said, we're not happy with what we're seeing. Bassett said there's so much wrong that it's unfixable. So he's out the door already. Like, he's already got 1.5 feet out the door. So, I mean, for you though, let's talk about the Mets. I'm happy for the fact that you have this guy who goes and buys parts for $155. Someone puts his elbow through the piece of art, and it goes up to $2 million. You know? So like, this dude, he's like sitting there, he's like laughing at him. He's like Elon Musk. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Elon Musk apparently paid people to vote for Trump. So he's got right? No, that's what he did. And then now this is kind of what this dude's like. He's like, this Cohen dude is like, go ahead, offer him whatever you want, because I'm just going to top it anyway. Like, we can do this, like, we can take all off season to do this if you want. Like, we're going to be the ones who sign it, because we offer top dollar. So this morning, Jeff was arguing with me that the Jays didn't offer him a top dollar. I'm like, you're seriously telling me that the Rogers organization offered Soto $765 million? This is a $75 million signing bonus? I really doubt it. That's, I think, what got him. Like, 'cause apparently there's a $5 million difference between the Yankees and the Mets.
Yeah.
Like, and Jeff's like, well, he wants to win. Okay, if he wanted to win, what's $5 million? He would have just stayed with the Yankees.
Yeah.
They went to the World Series.
He was always gonna chase the money. He's not a. We gotta remember, he's not a homegrown guy like Judge. He's bounced around. He rejected like what, almost $500 million from the Washington Nationals because he knew where the market was going. He knew if he hits the market and he tests the market, he was going to get a contract that would blow everyone's minds out of the water. So like, he was always going to chase the money.
Yeah. Exactly. So he's made 3 times because when they were talking about that on MLB TV last night, it's so true. You're absolutely right. He turned down the 450. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's crazy." He bet on himself.
Yeah.
And then he went and got paid by San Diego. He got paid by New York. What did he get paid by New York? 60-something million for 1 year. What was it? Like, it was a crazy $1 million.
It was probably got close to $30 million. Yeah.
Yeah, like a whopping 1 year deal. I said $1 million.
Yeah, with the the arbitration, I'm sure he made a ton.
Absolutely. So he's quadrupled his money, or tripled it at least, and now he's making more money than Judge and I think Ohtani combined. Where did I see that? I think I posted it somewhere. But it's like, this guy's making crazy money.
Yeah, they defer the money, yeah.
Yeah, and here's the other thing I'm going to throw out there. So I actually thought Shohei Ohtani was the best hitter until last night watching MLB TV. They're like, Soto's the best hitter. They're actually right. Just by a smidgen, he's a little bit better than Ohtani, just in the fact that he's 26 years old. Ohtani's now 30, so he's got more time. He won a World Series already. He's won, he's gone to one, so he's had a lot of success already. He's the kind of hitter that and Ohtani is too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
He can walk it off any day. But Ohtani is like, sometimes he doesn't have that clutch that Soto has. He has the clutch, but not that Soto clutch. And we saw it time and time again with him. And even in the playoffs, you want to talk about players performing in the playoffs? Like, Torre was cold for the first couple rounds, if you guys recall. And then he got a little bit hot in the World Series. And then they ended up winning. That's because they have a stacked team. So Soto, I think, sparked that offense. And quite honestly, like, as a Blue Jays fan, I could tell you, he would have solved our batting order issue because we don't have a power lefty, and we need that between Bo and Vlad, you know? So, like, and Soto makes every hitter that much better being in the lineup. So, people don't believe it. You're going to see it this year. He stepped up. He knew he was going to a free agent here, and he put up the numbers. He may not have had better numbers than Ohtani, but he put up the numbers, man, and they got to a World Series. Yeah, they fell short, but, you know, like, he's the real deal. And, like, that's the way baseball's going. If you want these guys not to be making this kind of money, then put a salary cap on, which I don't think is happening.
Not going to happen. I doubt it.
No.
I mean, you never know. Manfred is leaving in a few years. He's got, like, 4 years left, and then he's going to retire. Who knows who's going to come in, but as long as next 4 or 5 years, while Manfred's still here, not going to happen. Zero chance. When he leaves, I guess anything's possible, but I would bet against it for a long time.
I agree. I don't see it happening within the next decade even. Maybe never. You know, like, so.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. Teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox, and I guess the Phillies, like, I guess those are the, and sometimes San Francisco. Like, San Francisco's not out there in the offseason this year like they were last year. But there's teams up there that have money. And so, unless they do what the Dodgers did, you know, hey, here's 7 now.
We've got a similar problem. I mean, we're still bleeding players. We just lost O'Neill, so.
That's a loss. But you know what? I really thought that they had a shot at Soto. I really did. And I do think that they can. I do think they can land a big name free agent or two. I think they have a better chance of the Jays all day long. Like, Boston's not out of it. Like, Boston's not blown out.
They could sign somebody else, like a Teoscar.
They will. You know, people want to play for the Red Sox. Do people want to play for the Blue Jays? I don't know if they'd want to more than the Red Sox, but if you throw the money at them, they'll come over here. Like, you can't tell me if Rogers didn't say, okay, we're going to do 770, that he wouldn't have signed here.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it was. He even said it in the clip that I watched last night on MLB TV before the end of the offseason, like when they got through the World Series and they didn't win. He had been asked by one of the interviews, like, that he had, he says, I'm not favoring any team. Like, whoever comes at me with the most interest, meaning whoever throws me the most money.
Yeah, whoever's paying me.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's all it boiled down to. Was nothing more. And the agent wants to make the money too, right? So, what do you think? Like, that's what's going to happen. These guys are out to get their money. So, I think the Mets are an instant contender. I think they're in the NLCS, a lock in the NLCS.
Oh, yeah.
What they have right now.
I think they put themselves in that position as well, yeah.
Yeah, like, even without, because think about it. Like, they played well last year, and they actually caught their stride at the end of the season. And they kind of realized, hey, we're actually going to have a shot here. So things kind of came to fruition for them kind of late in the season. But now that they know that, they know what pieces they need, and they're willing to spend the money, man. So, like, you know, if you're a Mets fan, like you are, Jake, be happy because this is a good year for you guys. You guys are going somewhere. Like, and another one, they got Frankie Montas. People don't realize that Frankie Montas has pitched in, like, hitter-friendly ballparks. So he should
be a little better.
Yeah, he's going to have better numbers now playing in, what is it again? City Field?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, right. So I always want to call it Shea Stadium. But I think they're going to be quite surprised what he's going to do because he's pitched in parks like Cincinnati, and I think it was Oakland.
Yeah.
Over there, like, you know, like sometimes Oakland with that damp air in the Bay, I mean, they don't have a team no more. And that's why, because Moneyball doesn't work for decades, guys. Like, you know what I mean?
It's,
so it's like,
you
know? So it's just sad when a team got this money and the fans over here in Toronto are held by the balls thinking that they're actually going to do something. They didn't do nothing last year. We walked away. We ended up making moves at the end of the year. We ended up getting, Justin Turner, Joey Votto, who is ready to retire, just not officially yet.
Yeah.
Daniel Vogelback. Get it?
Good God.
Daniel Vogelback.
I remember him in Queens. That was great guy. I would love to party with that guy, but I do not want him on my baseball team.
This year, I feel like the hype around Soto wasn't quite as much. But like when Ohtani was up for grabs, they played it up so much. They had people tracking flights and
I know.
That's why Toronto got duped, because everyone was like, oh, he's not playing to Toronto. Everyone's like, oh my God, he's going to sign a deal. And then like, oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, and who was the guy again that reported that? He really looked brutal.
Might have been, was it Sherman?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Might have been Joel Sherman. Because I don't think it was Heyman.
Yeah, he really felt terrible after he's like, oh my god. Like,
Heyman was Arson Judge. I don't think it was him. Wasn't Payson. I don't think it was Rosenthal. So I think it might have been Joel Sherman.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I think the next big name out there now is Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
I think that's the next big name.
Definitely.
I don't know where he's going.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any other teams talking about him. I heard the Jays spoke with them.
They're in on him. Yes, they are.
Yeah. So we'll see, but like, I mean, what's going on in Baltimore? Like, they're not trying to gain these guys back because they were pretty close, I thought. So now they've lost. So they've lost. Hold on. They're going to probably lose Santander. And they've lost. Who just signed today? They lost somebody today. I can't even think now. Who did they lose?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know they're probably going to lose Burns. I don't know if they can compete with the other teams.
Yeah, sorry, I can't even think who it was, but there's somebody that they lost that went signed with another team. It was significant to them. I can't think who it was because there's been so much movement and we're sitting here talking about Soto so much. It'll come back to me. But yeah, it just looks like right now Baltimore's not making enough of an effort to keep the team that they have on the field and get better with it.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot because, all right, so they've had a couple of good years in a row, but you haven't been able to have any success in the postseason. Their ownership has been kind of just really a mess for a while. I think the guy who was like controlling it, he passed away, and the siblings have been fighting over the team for years. They went to court. It's been a whole thing. I think they're finally they might even be looking into selling it. So their ownership's been kind of a mess for a while. First of all, the ownership is not as wealthy as as the Steinbrenners, as Steve Cohen, as even John Henry. He's cheap, but he's got more money than the Angelos family. Even Rogers. I mean, they have more money than the Angelos family. Do I spend it? Not always, but
No, they don't. They don't.
but they have more money, so they're kind of overmatched. So I think that's part of it. That being said, they have an excellent young core. You gotta spend some money on it, and I mean they went out and made the move for. You made a couple trades last year. You went and got Eloy Hernandez. That didn't work out quite yet. We'll see what happens. You went and got Tyler O'Neill, but I think they're trying to re-sign Burns, but looks like they're probably going to get outbid. But Santander they're probably going to lose just because that's probably what the deal for O'Neill. But yeah, they are.
That's what I meant.
They're probably going to get outbid for these guys.
Okay, so my bad. That's what it was. They actually gained a player. So
O'Neill.
But I think you're right. I think that does signify that they're probably not going to bring back Santander. Now, I know that Jays have interest in him. The only thing about him that is good, I don't think he's going to be what he was last season. I really don't.
Camden also, though you hit the ball in the air, the ball gets out. The ball gets out. It's a very hitter-friendly park.
See Santander to Boston, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Sure. I mean that helps Boston cover back for O'Neill being lost.
He'll hit 40 doubles and 30 homers.
Yeah, exactly. So then, and when it comes to Rogers, we have a problem, RedBox, because the Leafs are going to be the next ones that we're going to start losing all these players on. He's gone. Like, it's like I don't want to hear that he didn't do nothing in the playoffs. The Leafs haven't fucking done nothing in the playoffs. Like, what are you going to talk about one guy not doing on the playoffs for? Like, sorry, I swore. But
Fine here.
It's so frustrating. It's like, are you serious? Like, you're going to sit here and say, oh, he hasn't done nothing in the playoffs. We're going to sign him back. Who are you going to replace him with? It's just brutal because the Leafs actually look pretty close right now. They really do. The two goalies look pretty solid. They can improve their defense. Guys like Nyes and Minton are coming up. That looks good. So they have a team, but they just don't want to ever just go the distance. And that's kind of what we've seen with the Blue Jays. They come so close, and they just never want to go that extra distance to be able to say, okay, yeah, let's go all the way and get this done, And we saw the Dodgers do that last year, and they won a World Series. So, like, at what point do you realize how this works, Like, you bought this team 2 decades ago, and you don't know what's going on. Come on, man. Like, and I don't know what you guys think about the Jays management, if this is like this would be the final straw for Atkins and Shapiro. If they don't get it done.
If things don't improve this year, I don't know how those guys keep their jobs next year.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's just brutal, is it not? It's like these guys are missing.
They don't have the right people in the building right now. They just don't.
No, you're absolutely right. And I don't think that we're going to see anything change on that front. Like, 'cause when last season was over with, they held the postseason conference. They're like, yeah, we're bringing back Shapiro and Atkins, and we're like, why? Like, they didn't do it. They
I know.
screwed up the team. So
Yeah.
frustrating, man. Frustrating. Very frustrating. And so yeah, we'll see what happens. I guess the winter meetings just started. So we'll see. There should be a lot more movement, but what a way to kick it off with Soto already signing with the Mets. So
yeah. Definitely kick it off with a bang. Few other signs that happened. I'll continue to talk about them with the two you guys. Of course, you guys are welcome to hang with me. So the Dodgers signed Michael Conforto a year for $17 million. Look, first of all, I feel really bad for Michael Conforto. He had some good years with the Mets. Scott Boras absolutely screwed him over. He tried to hold out for the biggest deal possible in 2022. Didn't happen. Then he hurt his shoulder. Misses a year, and he has not been the same player with the Giants. Now, these are his numbers the last 2 years. In 23, 239, 15 homers, 58 RBIs. OPS was 718. This year, 237, 20 homers, 6 RBIs, 759 OPS. So he's still a decent player. Excuse me. He's a little left-handed bat. He's average, middle of the order. I'm not going to hit for a ton of average. Not going to get on base quite as much, not nearly as much as he once did. He's probably about a league average hitter. Still a good outfielder who can play all three outfield spots. He's a good clubhouse guy. But this to me signals that maybe they're planning on losing Teoscar Hernandez. I know Teoscar wants to come back, but I mean, if you Dodgers do have a lot of big contracts on the book. So, but they bring in Michael Conforto on a 1-year deal. We had another signing here. Blake Triang, Dodgers re-signed him, 2 years, $22 million. He's been really good for the Dodgers the last couple of years. In 21, had a great year, 1.99 ERA in 72 games. In 22, gets hurt. I think he ended up having Tommy John. Came back this year and pitched very well. 50 games, 1.93 ERA. He had some big outs in the playoffs. Got 7 outs in Game 5 of that World Series. Was absolutely huge. Was actually kind of like the unsung hero of that game. He's always been a really good reliever. He's got a career 2.78 ERA in almost 500 career games. Also 80 career saves. He's been a closer before. Of course, had that insane year with Oakland in 2018. He had 0.78 ERA with 38 saves that year. So he's a very good reliever that the Dodgers bring back. And then the last... And that's actually, there's one more here. Shane Bieber goes back to Cleveland. A year, $14 million, gets $60 million player option in 2026. He's going to miss some time. He had Tommy John surgery in April. So we'll probably won't see him till probably closest to the All-Star break. But the guy's a great pitcher. He obviously in the pandemic year, wins the Cy Young. Had 3.17 in 21, though was hurt a lot that year as well, only 16 starts. Had 2.88 in 31 starts in 2022. 200 innings, had 198 strikeouts, only 36 walks. In 23, not his best year. 3.8 ERA in 21 starts, battled some injuries, and also only made 2 starts last year. So, a lot of injuries, a lot of arm problems, but when he's healthy, he is one of the best arms in the league. Cleveland brings him back. They haven't, but this year, and they give him the fair option. If he pitches like he has, 2 or 3 years ago, he'll probably turn that back and try and get a bigger deal. If he comes back a little slower, he's got that as a plan B. He can go back for the $16 million with the Cleveland Guardians. But up next, we're gonna briefly talk about some hockey. So the New York Rangers extended Igor Shesterkin. 8 years, $92 million. That is $11.5 million a year for the next 8 years. That is he's the highest paid goalie in the history of the National Hockey League. So big deal for Shesterkin. Look, overall he's been an amazing goalie. He won the Vezina in 2022 at 207 goals against average that year from 935 save percentage. Hasn't quite been, numbers have been quite that the previous 2 years, but it's still been great in 22-23, 248 goals against average with a 916 save percentage. Last year, 258 GAA with a 912 save percentage. He struggled a little bit this year. He's got 299 goals against average with a 908 save percentage. Also a little bit of a slow start this year. Got off to a slow start last year as well, but was phenomenal in the second half and was unbelievably amazing in the playoffs. He's been just absolutely incredible in the postseason. I still think he's one of the best goalies in the league. Going into the year, I thought he was at least a top 3 goalie, if not the best goalie. I still think that when he's right, he's clearly a top 5 goalie. The best is probably Connor Hellebuyck in Winnipeg.
Definitely, the best is definitely Connor Hellebuyck.
And there's a lot of guys that are right there. Jeremy Swayman in Boston is really good. Jay Gottinger in Dallas is a phenomenal goalie. There's a bunch of guys in that tier. I think he's right there in that tier. I would say he's a top 5-ish goalie for sure, 3 to 5 goalie in the league. Look, it's very hard to build a team when you pay a goalie this much money. Look at the Canadians with Carey Price. Look, Carey Price was amazing. If he didn't have all the health issues that he had and had won a Stanley Cup, he would have been one of the probably 5 greatest goalies ever and would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. No doubt. And he may or may not still get in. We'll see what happens with that.
He'll still be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He probably does get in, but he would have been one of the all-time great goalies. Of course, the health stuff obviously didn't help. He had some not only physical injuries, but had some mental health stuff. I hope he is doing well right now. But look, and then Montreal was great, but they were so handicapped financially. They couldn't really build up a team around him. And look what happened. That's why they never were able to get over the hump. So, look. This year is definitely cup or bust for the Rangers. You make the Jacob Trouba trade, you get him out of there. I mean, you trade your captain. If that's not lighting a fire under your ass, I don't know what is. Trading the captain away. Look, he's not that good, Jacob Trouba. He's washed, but still the captain, and that gives him a lot of. What's up?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say so apparently the threat there was that I don't think he wanted to get traded. I think he was rejecting the trade, so then they threatened to put him on waivers. So then he went ahead and accepted.
Yeah, so they tried to move him in the offseason. He had some. It was a weird situation because I think like his wife or his girlfriend or his fiance, I don't know if they're married or not. She's doing some sort of like she's going to school, like be like a doctor. And she had to do it in New York. So if he got traded to, a team that's not the New York Islanders or the Buffalo Sabres, that would kind of screw that up. So that's why he wasn't, allowing the trade to happen. And then I think they were, over the last few weeks, they've been trying to trade him. And he's still saying, no, I'm not doing it. He was kind of putting his foot down. Eventually they said, enough. We're going to scratch you. And we're gonna try and trade you. If you say no, we're going to waive you. At first, he was like, you know what, fine, let's just end this. You can waive me. And then they said, all right, like actually we're gonna trade you. He was like, all right, fine, let's get this crap over with. He's now in Anaheim. Rangers get back that defenseman. They get back a pick. They get back a lot. And the Ducks took his whole contract, which was helpful for the Rangers. I know he came out and said like he didn't like how it was handled. Okay, look, I don't know what he wants the Rangers to do. I get the family part of it. These guys are human beings, but also the guy was so bad last year down the stretch. He was so bad in the playoffs. The guy was a traffic cone in the postseason. Doesn't give you anything offensively anymore. I like him. I think he's a good guy. I don't doubt that he's a bad leader, although it's hard to lead when you're not playing well. And I think he's a good guy. The Rangers seem to really like him. And he was overall had a good tenure there. Had some good moments, but he's the one who underperformed while making $8 million a year. I don't know what to tell the guy. Don't get hurt, stay on the ice, play better. This doesn't happen. So he's gone. That gives the Rangers a lot of money right now to maybe make another move at the trade deadline or two, which they're going to probably have to, because defensively, they're definitely, I think, a better team. Their last game, they gave up 7 goals. But overall, I think they're better without him, at least defensively. But they might need one more piece offensively, and they might need another piece defensively. But they get him out of there, and so the Rangers definitely got half the Stanley Cup this year when it comes to Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah, great signing. As you said, boomer bust for the Rangers this year for sure. Steve, They got him for another 8 years, you said?
Yes, 8 years, $92 million.
Yeah, no, a great signing. We'll see what they can do with that. Yeah.
All right, it was Conference Championship Saturday this past weekend. We had some exciting games, some blowouts, but some exciting games. Mountain West Championship, Boise State beats UNLV 21-7. Ashton Genty, 209 yards and a touchdown. He better be the Heisman Trophy winner. It should definitely be him. And number 24 Army beats Tulane in the American Athletic Championship. Very cool to see Army have a great year this year. Good for them. Into the Saturday slate, the Big Ten Championship. You had number 1 Oregon against number 3 Penn State. Oregon wins 45-37. 283 yards and 4 touchdowns for Dylan Gator. He played really well. Oregon wins that one. Georgia beats Texas 22-19 in overtime in the SEC Championship. I thought Texas would win that game. Georgia gets it done. They don't have 2-0 against Texas this year. Quinn Ewers struggled in that game, 27-46, 358, touchdown, 2 picks. Georgia wins in overtime. ACC Championship game was a great game. Clemson beats SMU to steal the ACC, 34-31. SMU came all the way back. They were down 24-7 at the half. They came all the way back and tied it late, but Clemson steals on a long game-winning field goal in the final seconds of that game. And Big 12 Championship was not even close. Number 15, Arizona State beat 6 Iowa State, 45-19. That running back got scattered about. That guy's a dog. 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a big game. He's very good. And let's talk about the college football playoff. The first ever finalized 12-team playoff was revealed yesterday. So the 4 teams. So it's very complicated. Okay, I'm still trying to understand it too. They got to clean this up next year. This is very complicated. So the top 4 teams that got byes, it was Oregon, was the 1 seed. Georgia, the 2 seed. The 3 seed was Boise State. 4 seed was Arizona State. The 5 seed, and then, so remember, if you win your conference, you get an automatic bid. And then there's like, the best group of 5 team, which is Boise State, and then the at-large bid. It's very
automatic top 4, which I think is stupid.
It's very, very confusing. So we have the 5 seed was Texas. The 6 seed was Penn State. The 7 seed was Notre Dame. 8 seed was Ohio State. The 9 seed, where's the 9 seed here? Why can't I find the 9 seed? The 9 seed was Tennessee. The 10 seed was Indiana. 11 seed SMU. 12 seed Clemson. So Alabama gets left out where SMU. Obviously, there's been a lot of debate about this. I think this is the right move. Alabama, they lost to a 6-6 Vanderbilt team and got destroyed by another 6-6 Oklahoma team. Okay, like, I don't know what else to tell Alabama. SMU, they lost by a field goal in the conference championship. They're very good. They deserve to be in over Alabama. In my opinion, first round of the college football playoff, it'll be Clemson against Texas, Tennessee against Ohio State, SMU against Penn State, Indiana against Notre Dame. Tomorrow I'll probably talk a little bit more about this and then go over some of the older bowl games. It's very confusing, so I want to come a little more prepared for that. But that is what the college football playoff looks like right now. Sunday slate. Dolphins beat the Jets 32-26 in overtime. I mean, Jets blew another fourth quarter lead. We shouldn't be surprised at this point. They're 3-10. They suck. Dolphins 6-7. Not great either, but better than the Jets. Vikings destroyed the Falcons 42-21. They get to 11-2. Kirk Cousins threw 2 picks, no touchdowns. He's got 0 touchdowns and 8 picks in his last 4 games. I think the Falcons need to start considering going to Michael Penix.
That was a really interesting game because it was close for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings just completely opened the floodgates up in the fourth quarter. They were quite extensively covering that game on Red Zone for obvious reasons. Kirk Cousins making his return to Minnesota. And when the fourth quarter started, they're like, oh wait, this actually isn't good.
Yeah, and so they might have to start looking at Michael Penix because Kirk is just they're just collapsing. Saints over Giants 14-11. I mean, that's a useless game.
That was an interesting.
Yeah, Giants lose on a block.
The Giants were going to come back and tie it.
Yeah, they drove down and got into range, but Graham Gano's field goal was blocked at the very end there. But Saints suffered another injury. Derek Carr fractured his hand, probably out for the year. Their just disastrous year continues. Tank is on for the Giants. Eagles over to the Panthers 22-16. Saquon had another great game. A.J. Brown was not happy after the game. He said that the Eagles' passing offense needs to be better. He wasn't wrong. I mean, they do have the second worst passing offense in the league from a stats standpoint. I'm not sure if you should say that,
It seems like Bryce Young is finally starting to find himself.
Yeah, he played well. If it wasn't for that just awful drop by Xavier Leggett, they might have won that game.
Yeah. No, they would have. I think, and that penalty on, I believe it was 4th and 4.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
On the final drive of the game for Carolina, that was bad. And then, of course, they threw a pick to end it.
Yeah, so not good. The Steelers beat the Browns 27-14. I think we expected that. Browns are very bad. Jameis Winston's very funny, but, there's a reason that, he's not been a starter in a while, despite being the first overall pick back in 2000, I believe, and 15. Steelers, man, 10-3. Mike Tomlin might be the coach of the year. He just might.
Mike Tomlin is almost always in the running for coach of the year.
Yeah.
This Steelers team has surprised me.
Same here, man.
I'm gonna be totally honest.
I did not expect this. No.
To be anywhere near this good.
I don't think anybody did. Yeah.
I'm still very apprehensive about their chances in the playoffs. Once they start getting, their path through won't be easy.
Yeah. I'm not sure what happened in the playoffs, but
I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure about Russell Wilson as quarterback, but he's been playing
well
so far. So
we'll see how that continues. Bucks over the Raiders 20-13. Baker played pretty well. That Raiders team is just a disaster. Now Aiden O'Connell's probably out for the year. Looks like it'll be Desmond Ridder the rest of the way. The Raiders, they are just unbelievably bad. It's horrible.
yes.
Jaguars over the Titans 10-6. That was a brutal game. Mac Jones was horrible. Titans were just somehow worse. But both teams are 3-10. They both suck. Seahawks over the Cardinals rather. They're 18. Seattle's playing really well. Looks like they're going to win that division if I had to guess. Gino's playing well enough. Big game for Zach Charbonnet in place of an injured Kenneth Walker. Kyler Murray, man, that guy is so overrated. Very inconsistent. He really is not that great of a quarterback. I'm sorry, he does not.
I mean, let's be fair. Winning that division is not an accomplishment.
No, it is not. No, it is not. You had the Rams over the Bills in a crazy game, 44-42.
That was crazy.
Yeah, Josh Allen's the first guy ever with 3 rushing and passing touchdowns in one game, and he lost. He had 6 touchdowns. But Rams win a wild one. 49ers over the Bears, 38-13. Good God, the Bears are bad. Holy hell.
I was seeing posts on X yesterday saying that the Bears need to be kicked out of the
They're so bad, dude. I don't understand. Like,
They are a stable franchise, though, historically, aren't they?
no.
No, they're not. Like, I remember the 80s, man. Like, I don't know if you guys
Obviously, they always have the 85 team, but they've been pretty. I mean,
yeah, like
the ownership is dysfunctional. I'll say it.
Like, it's too bad, man. They had those picks and they made those
I know.
trades and all that a couple drafts back. They looked promising. Justin Fields was like, looking top tier. Now all of a sudden we don't know what's going on with him. Russell Wilson's the main guy over in Pittsburgh. I agree with RedBox. I think they fizzle out in the playoffs. And then once you get through this, Jake, let's talk about who the MVP is going to be.
Absolutely. And Sunday Night Football, Chiefs over the Chargers, 19-17. Chiefs went on a field goal that doinked in. First of all, they're on their third kicker because of injuries. And it hit the upright and went in as time expired. But Chiefs continue to find very odd ways to win. And before we close out, like Neil mentioned, let's get your guys' MVP picks.
So Josh Allen, as we discussed in the chat there a couple weeks back, I think even though he scored the 6 touchdowns yesterday, had those, that big game, he got me 55 points.
Wow.
He lost, but the guy's he's amazing. I would honestly, I don't know, does he reach 10 touchdowns? Maybe. He should be, I think, most times trying to run the ball himself because they're usually that close, and I think he should opt to do that a little bit more, but they got to get those receivers going. Like, Amari Cooper had a good game yesterday. James Cook didn't do much of anything. But, I think that there's still a team that you got to watch out for. Yeah, I'd love to see Detroit and, Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
That'd be awesome.
For this, for our area geographically, for all the Canadian bands, for, the Detroit team and the Buffalo team, it'd be great for us as well.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It would be cool to see, and I think that's what the Americans want to see. I saw a post, I think I put it in the group, but
yes,
it says, the football that we want.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and it has the Bills and the Lions, but it says, but the one that we're gonna get is the Chiefs and the Eagles. So, are we getting bored of the Chiefs yet, though?
Yes, we definitely are.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, and RedBox, who's your MVP this year?
MVP pick. It's got to be Josh Allen, man.
Yeah.
It's got to be. I don't know. There's other. You could make a case maybe for Goff.
I don't know.
But I don't know. There's not. I think he's the clear number one, Allen.
Yeah.
And then once after him, it's wide open.
Yeah, I think it's Josh Allen. Lamar's had a great year. He's in the conversation.
No.
He's in the conversation. He'll be a finalist because there's not a whole lot.
He has had a great year, and he's the reigning MVP. So yeah, I agree with that. But I don't think he's winning it. But
No, it's Josh Allen, and Saquon Barkley's had an amazing year. Now, I would love to see a non-quarterback win, but Josh Allen's playing out of his mind. It's Josh Allen. All right, guys. That's all I got for you guys today. Neil and RedBox,
thanks for having us.
Of course, thank you so much for coming on. You guys are welcome anytime. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.